You think you're training your body, but what if I told you it's your mind that's being built with every rep, every drop of sweat, every moment you refuse to quit? Most people chase mirrors, the reflection, the image, the validation. But the truth is the mirror lies. It only shows what's visible, not what's valuable. Because what you're really shaping in that gym isn't muscle, it's character. What you're really building isn't a body, it's a mindset that won't break when life does. There's a deeper reason behind every workout, every early morning, every sacrifice you make. And once you understand it, you'll realize the goal isn't to look strong, it's to become strong. Because one day it won't be about lifting weights, it'll be about lifting yourself. Let's kick things off with lesson 1. The mirror doesn't measure strength. Look at yourself in the mirror. You see a reflection staring back, numbers on a scale, the shape of your body, the curve of your shoulders. But let's be honest, how much does that really tell you? The mirror can't show the nights you dragged yourself out of bed when your heart was heavy. It doesn't reflect the days you kept going when your mind whispered, quit. It can't measure the weight you carried that nobody else ever saw. Physical change is obvious. Anyone can notice when you lose or gain weight, when muscle starts to form, when the image shifts. But that's the easy progress. That's surface. The deeper transformation, the one that changes the way you live, the way you fight, the way you love, that doesn't show up on glass. That happens in silence, away from cameras, when no one is watching. Think about it. The mirror never tells you how strong you were the day you forgave someone who didn't deserve it. It doesn't remind you of the time you stood up for yourself, trembling but firm. It doesn't reveal how much discipline it took to walk away from a toxic habit or a destructive pattern. Those moments don't create six-packs or flawless skin. They carve something greater, resilience. Let me tell you a fact most people don't like to admit. We live in a world obsessed with appearances. Social feeds are flooded with before and after photos, as if transformation is only skin deep. But the truth, the hardest battles never make it to the screen. No one sees the fight inside your head at 2 in the morning. No one applauds when you choose patience over anger, or when you pick honesty over comfort. Yet that's where the real victories live. Maybe you've been chasing an image, waiting for the reflection to finally validate you. But ask yourself, what happens when the mirror doesn't change? Will you still feel proud? Will you still respect yourself? Because real strength isn't built in front of the mirror. It's built in the unseen, in the choices that hurt, in the sacrifices nobody claps for, in the perseverance that looks boring from the outside but feels like survival on the inside. And here's the shift. The day you stop obsessing over the reflection is the day you begin to see who you really are. You realize that the scale can't measure courage. A mirror can't display endurance. No filter can capture character. Your worth was never meant to be framed in glass. It's meant to be lived through every step you take when life tries to break you. Think back on your life. The moments you're most proud of, weren't they the ones that tested you? The heartbreak you survived, the fear you faced, the pain you didn't let define you. That's strength. And the truth is, the mirror will never show it, but you will feel it in the way you carry yourself, in the way you keep going, in the way nothing outside of you holds the power to define what's inside you. So next time you find yourself staring at your reflection, remember this: the glass only shows an image, but your life, your battles, your scars, your resilience, that's the real progress. And that progress is unshakable, untouchable, and undeniable. Because the mirror doesn't measure strength. You do. All right, here's lesson number 2. The weight you can't see. Nobody can see it. Not your friends, not the people at work, not even the ones closest to you. But you feel it every single day. The invisible weight pressing down on your chest. The stress you can't put into words. The memories that claw at you when you're alone. The pressure of expectations that never seem to end. That's the weight no one else notices. But you carry it everywhere you go. And the truth is, it's heavier than any dumbbell. Heavier than any barbell. You can't set it down in a rack. You can't measure measure it in pounds. This kind of weight lives in your head, in your heart, in your nervous system. It shows up in the tension in your shoulders, in the way you can't sleep, in the short breath you take when nobody's watching. Let me tell you something real. Every single person you see is carrying something you can't. Trauma, regret, unanswered questions, sometimes even self-hatred. You pass people in the gym, on the street, in the office, and you'll never know the wars they're fighting in silence. And maybe you've wondered if you're the only one who feels so damn heavy inside. You're not. Now here's where it changes. Training, real training, is not just about building a body. It's therapy. It's taking the weight you can't see and giving it form, giving it a place to go. That's why when you push through a set until your arms shake, something inside of you loosens. That's why when your lungs are burning, your mind gets quieter. You are teaching yourself discipline, not just for muscles, but for the storms inside your head. I'll give you an example. Think about the last time you felt like you couldn't take another step in life. That feeling of, I can't do this anymore. Now imagine putting that same energy into movement, running until your body aches, lifting until your arms scream. That moment you wanted to quit in the gym, that's the same fight you're having outside the gym. And every time you push one more rep, every time you resist the urge to drop the weight, you're proving to yourself that you can handle the invisible burdens too. Training becomes a mirror for your inner battles. It teaches you that pain can be endured, that effort can reshape suffering, that you are not powerless against the heaviness you carry. The world will never applaud you for this because they'll never see what you're really fighting, but you will know. You'll feel it when you realize the same discipline that holds you steady in training is the same discipline that keeps you standing when life tries to break you. And here's the breakthrough. You can't erase the weight you carry, but you can transform it. You can turn stress into sweat, trauma into resilience, pressure into focus. The burden doesn't vanish, but it no longer owns you. You own it. So remember this, the heaviest battles are never visible. But when you step under the bar, when you put yourself through the fire of effort, you're not just building a body, you're rewriting the story of your pain. Because the weight you can't see is real, but so is your power to lift it. Here comes the last lesson. The mind fails before the body. There's a moment we all face. You're pushing through the set, your muscles are screaming, your chest is heaving, and your mind whispers the same words it always does. You can't. It tells you to stop. It convinces you you've reached the edge. But here's the truth most people never realize. Your body isn't finished. It's your mind that gave up first. The human body can endure far more than you think. Pain tolerance, endurance, survival, the limits are always further than where your thoughts try to stop you. The real battlefield isn't in your arms or your legs, it's in your head. Every rep, every step, every challenge is a negotiation between what you think you can do and what you're actually capable of. And most of the time, it's the mind that raises the white flag long before the body does. Think about this. How many times have you left something undone because your brain convinced you that you were exhausted, unworthy, or not ready? But then later, you realized you had more in you. That extra push was still there. That strength hadn't disappeared. The problem wasn't the body, it was the story your mind was telling you. Let me give you an example. There are athletes who collapse at the finish line, not because their bodies truly failed, but because their minds finally allowed them to. Scientists have studied this. The body has reserves, hidden energy systems, a margin of endurance you almost never tap into. Your brain acts like a governor, holding you back out of fear, out of self-preservation. It tells you you're done when in reality you have more. That's why the breakthrough doesn't come when your body feels strong. It comes when your mind is screaming stop and you refuse to listen. This isn't just about fitness. This is about life. You faced moments when you thought you couldn't handle another heartbreak, another failure, another day of pressure. But look at you. You're still here. You didn't collapse. You carried more than your mind believed you could. And every time you've crossed that line, you've proven something. Your body, your soul, your spirit, they are stronger than the fear in your head. The real transformation happens when you start seeing struggle differently. Instead of running when the mind panics, you lean in. You start to understand that the shaking hands, the racing heartbeat, the burning muscles, they're not signs of weakness. They're signs you're close to discovering what's actually inside you. And every time you push past that false finish line your brain sets, you rewire something deeper. You're teaching yourself, I am more than I think I am. That lesson sticks. It doesn't just change the way you train, it changes the way you live. You begin to carry yourself differently. Obstacles outside the gym don't look as impossible anymore because you've seen yourself push past the point where you thought you were done and you kept going. So the next time you feel your mind telling you to stop, remember this: that voice is not the truth, it's the barrier. And beyond that barrier lies the version of you that doesn't quit, that doesn't fold, that doesn't back down. The body can go further. The body can endure more. The question isn't whether you have the strength. The question is whether you're willing to fight the voice in your head long enough to find it. Because the mind fails before the body. But when you stop listening to the lie, that's when you finally learn how powerful you really are.